Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you guys are doing good and everyone is fine at their place. This is me, Sundar Sanwar, with a brand new show like always. The Monday shows, are about our education faculty and they're specifically determined on how we reimage education and how we have developed in terms of educationists and educators in Pakistan. We talk about different perspectives when it comes to education because usually people just see education in terms of teaching. They don't see the different perspective, the different horizons that teaching can give you. And for me, especially being an educationist, I want the new generation, the people who are coming in who want to develop in this education system. I want them to see different parts of it and different careers in it. Today I have an excellent guest with me. uh, Before I introduce my guest, I would like to tell you guys that not only it is important for us to develop in education, it is important for us to see different parts of, what should I say, development in terms of professionalism as well. I always talk about it, and I've always emphasized it in the BEd programs as well to all the teachers who come, that please make sure that you're just not taking this profession because you don't have you believe that the timing is right, or you believe that it's an easy way out. It is a very, very big responsibility, and you all are professionals, and you need to understand your rights, your duties, and the whole the perspectives that revolve around teaching. So today I have with me Scherezade Tarar. She's currently working as General Manager Research and Development at Beaconhouse. She has headed school improvement and professional development at Beaconhouse. She's a Fulbright scholar and also a Winfield Hoffman Leadership Program alumna. She has MSc in Comparative Social Policy from University of Oxford. She has an MS in Teaching and Curriculum, Cyprus University NY, and MS Accounting and Finance, Tarar College for Women, Lahore. Wow. First of all, what a great profile. Honestly, when I saw your education, I literally had a conversation with my friends and I was like, I want this. I want my education to be this sparkling, mashallah. Excellent, ma'am. It's a wonderful profile. So, Miss, talking about your whole, the profile, your whole persona, how did you start? Like, because it's very hard to be at where you are, mashallah. Now it takes a lot of development, a lot of steps, and a lot of risk taking. So, how would you start off with it?
First of all, thank you for having me here on this live platform. And well, the question you asked, Sundas, is quite funny in a way that I never planned on following into this career or pursuing a career in education. Actually, when I was growing up, like any Punjabi girl belonging to a conservative family, I only knew that I'm going to grow up and get married. So even then, when somebody would ask, what would you want to be when you grow up? My answer would be just to, get out of that conversation. Oh, I'll be a teacher. So when I grew up, I got married very early, and my husband is very ambitious and supportive of my career. And he insisted, no, 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 an undergrad is not enough. Let's get enrolled into accounting and finance. So that's my first degree, the MS Accounting and Finance from Kinnaird College, after my daughter had started school. Got there after that. When I'd finished my degree, I got a distinction in it. I won a gold medal in that. And I decided now there's no point in sitting at home. People will say, what was the point of the 2 years career? Even at that time, I had no ambition as such. So I decided to go back to my own school, Lahore Grammar School. And I walked in and asked, is there any teaching job that I can do? Thinking that being just a teacher is the easiest thing to do. I'll go for a few hours and just, check few copies and talk to students and I'll be good to go. Well, that's not how it went. Teaching is a full-time job, and I fell in love with the profession the minute I walked into the classroom. The environment, the dynamics, the children, their stories, how they connect with you, how they look up to you, how you learn from them. So that's when I realized that teaching is not just teaching. It's not just something to pass time with. And you need to have some sort of professional training in that in order to do justice to your profession. So once again, 3 years down the road, I had already established myself in Lahore Grammar. I was their English teacher for middle school. Along with that, I was their math coordinator for a while. When, again, my husband came up with the brilliant idea that let's apply for Fulbright scholarship. I was like, okay, in 10 days, the deadline is there. Let's try it. Long story short, got Fulbright, went to Syracuse University in US to do masters in teaching and curriculum, because I felt that now that I understand the career, I really want to pursue it. And in order to pursue it, I need a formal
Excellent.
education in that. And that's now
Mm.
how the rest is history. Came back, joined Beaconhouse. Then 5 years down the road, again went for another master's, now this time at University of Oxford. Came back and then went into the field of research and development.
That is so good. I absolutely adore the fact that you've been so kind enough to tell the exact situation, because I believe that you are an example for women empowerment, I'd say. Because the way and definitely, I would say supportive husbands, supportive family members is the biggest foundation a girl can ask for. Anybody, I would
Definitely.
say, even a man, everybody needs good people, happy people, or just supportive people around them so they can, grow in whatever they want to grow in, and especially doing with a child. So definitely, then you are one of those examples कि कोई बहाना नहीं है, बच्चों का कोई बहाना नहीं है. So,
नहीं,
you can always
बहाना
do it.
बिल्कुल खत्म, बहाना बिल्कुल खत्म हो गया था, क्योंकि बाकी 2 मास्टर्स की टाइम एक और बच्ची आ गई, एंड फॉर द बाय द टाइम थर्ड मास्टर्स started, I had 3 children. So it was
MashaAllah.
with each degree, I also added one more child to my family.
That's a huge thing to do. That's not easy. That's not easy at all. I have one daughter, and I believe that I've completed all my things that I don't want to do, because I'm just doing my master's right now, and I'm like, nope, nothing else. Uh, Now, I'm talking about your development in terms of a teacher, because mashallah, I've seen, you've told me as well, and mashallah, now you even discussed it with us. The development stages in terms of teaching, because I believe that career opportunities are a lot in teaching. It's just that we don't
Oh,
want to look
yes.
at them, and we don't want to see them. We just want to be stuck to one place, because it's easier to follow the flock of the sheep rather than to be the shepherd or guide the sheep or be the other person looking after the sheep. Something else. It's easier to be that sheep. So how do you think that, especially now, mashallah, you actually took all the courses, all your teachings in terms of the same profession you were going in, because I absolutely adore that. I love the part that people develop in the same profession they have. They are sincere to the profession that they have. So you tell me, how has it been? What do you think now, especially for the students who are coming in, that the different opportunities that you can show them in education?
Uh, First of all, Sundar, we need to keep in mind that teaching is not just based to classroom, whiteboard, and you standing there and imparting a lecture from the book. Teaching is more than that. It's connecting, it's establishing relationship with your students. And then in turn, having a knowledge of all the other professions and all the other careers in the world. Because you are there to guide and nurture your child, develop those skills so that they can follow on to different careers in life. So, being a teacher, you're being a researcher. Being a teacher, you are being a mentor. Being a teacher, you're being a coach. Being a teacher, you're being a data analyst. Once again, a researcher. You're being,
Definitely.
a guide. So there are multiple roles, even as a teacher, that you play. And as for career opportunities, first of all, yes, first and foremost, it's very important if you are in education that you should have some experience of teaching, actual classroom teaching. That's only then you can understand what is required in the education sector, in the organization you're working, even in the school. Then, as a teacher, you need to be very aware of your students, of their needs, of the context, and then be willing to investigate. Now, by investigate, I don't mean following a police ritual here, but knowing, identifying problems, identifying the problem areas, the constraints, the limitations your children are facing, your
The
students are
improvement
facing,
areas even.
reading about it online, talking to your peers, bilkul, talking to your peers from your experience, then adding multiple strategies to solve that particular problem and seeing what difference you're making. Like, this is called action research. So you're a researcher on the job. Then as you grow, you become a coordinator, or you can become part of the curriculum team. Then you have in your control the decision power, the authority to decide what children should be reading or studying in a particular subject. As you grow, then you have the administration side in the teaching cadre. You are then in charge of reading running the school, seeing what is it that is required to give a holistic environment to the child. So teaching is not just being in the classroom. I even right now think I'm a teacher, and at the same time I'm a student, because I'm learning every day from my environment and then putting it back into the policies, into the documents we design, using the data for decision making. So it's a very broad field now, and with COVID now, it has opened more avenues for students of education to fall into. The technology part of it, the online courses, development of online programs, developing online teaching apps, all these things, and then catering to different needs based on the infrastructure availability, to based on the learning needs, based on the vulnerability of the society you're catering to. It has opened a completely new career line for students now, for students aspiring to be teachers now.
That's so true. I take your point forward that definitely, you just need to. I've always had amazing people on my show, and they've always told me the opportunities that they have seen in COVID. They never talk about the, what should I say, sadness in it. They're always concerned about it, that yes, there's going to be a little hinges and glitches. But then again, I love it that, you always see the opportunities in everything. And right now you're talking about the opportunities that COVID is bringing. We can see that, there's a spike again coming in COVID, and we never
Yes.
know when is it going to be the next day that they're going to say everything is off again, everything is closed again. Ma'am, do you think that the people who are coming from engineering, the people who are coming from biology teachers are always welcomed in school because they always help in, ninth and 10th grades, but especially engineering students, the one who are in computer sciences, what do you tell them? How do you see them in this career?
As I said, now with the new options coming up, and engineers, for example, teaching the STEM curriculum, science, technology, engineering, maths, there are so many options for them to contribute towards society, give something back. You have so much educational background in this particular field, and we are always looking for such resource who have the specialized education when it comes to science, when it comes to maths, and putting it all together. Now robotics is the new thing that schools are
Mhm.
introducing, and whoever has the opportunity, and kids love it. Honestly, I still would want to build a robot any day. And then learning different, then moving towards technology, as I said again. But Sundar's coming back to another thing that I feel that now teachers really need to focus on. It's the element of student well-being and even teachers' well-being post
True.
COVID. And not only the students in the schools, but students in our universities. Everybody has gone through so much.
So
Everybody
much.
has seen some sort of financial distress at their houses. They have seen some physical loss, some disease, some death, some fights going on in the houses, conflicts. So everybody is in a very different state of mind as to where they were before COVID. And as a teacher, we now need to focus on developing those skills as well. The skills of being a counselor, and not that those pop counselors that you just open a website and say, oh, now I can do counseling, but developing
Mhm.
that empathy, that compassion, and actually focusing on studying maybe psychology. That could be
Yes,
another line, because schools
well-being of
would
the
be
student.
needing counselors. They would be needing people for student well-being, because that is now all over the world. OECD, McKinsey, UNICEF, all the reports that are coming up, they are stressing that student well-being is now the key essential in any education, in any school, more so than before. So that's another career opportunity you have there for the school people who are interested in educational
Bilkul, I
professions.
would add into your point, especially I belong to a school where I'm an IB teacher, and IB we're all about inquiry and about research. I even did my master's in the same thing, that I did an action research on my students and with my students to see the computational linguistics in them. Even I have seen this, that even when parents are coming to me after COVID, there's this sadness that they're sharing with me, that I don't know what's up with my kid. I don't know why he's alone. I don't know why he's shutting me down for some reason. I don't know why he's feeling so overstressed. He's feeling so anxious about it. And I
Yeah.
actually took it seriously. I was like, this is not, चलो एक दो parents बोलते हैं तो you're like नहीं जी चलो बच्चों का problem है. But if 4 to 5 parents are telling you the same thing, then it is alarming. Then it means that, okay, fine,
Yeah.
we need to build a situation where they are okay, where they feel like, okay, this is my school, I'm back to my second home, I'm okay, things are going to get better. Because, school is just not a building. It's a home. It's a home for students, and I always believe that as a teacher, for me to make them understand that they're in their home, they can enjoy, they can talk, they can fight, they can vent it out. It's very important. It's very, very
It is.
important. I really like your point that yes, we have to talk about student well-being. We have to talk about teachers' well-being. And
Yeah.
Beacon House is one of those systems as well. I've heard really good about it as well, that they really focus on teachers' development and how teachers are going forward. They make teachers actually feel like humans. And I've always, heard these very simple words that नहीं नहीं हम इंसान हैं, हम इंसान समझते हैं ऐसा ही है कोई बात नहीं काम है लेकिन हम
देखो
इंसान हैं.
देखो, as I started, being a teacher is not just a teacher. Teaching is the most, how could I say, it's the hardest of the professions, because there's a responsibility of so many students on you and your own life and your own problems. So you're juggling so many emotions, not only of yourself, but so many people who are depending on you. So superhuman beings ही होती हैं teachers. Wonder Woman का title should go to a teacher actually.
That's so sweet. That's so true. Acha, taking your point forward of learning is always ongoing and it's something that is always there. And even when you're teacher, you are learning. When you're trainer, you are learning. Ma'am, talking about now, as you see the COVID situation and you see the development now, you've talked about that. So there's a whole variety of careers that are opening for teachers. What do you say when I look at you? You are the research and development general manager. If I come to you, what would you want me to showcase in my profile that would make you understand? Okay, fine, yes, I can hire her. She looks like a good candidate.
Well, if you just ask me personally, as long as the person is showing some social skills and empathy, I would have been ready to hire that person, because I believe that's the most important skill in a teacher. But yes, with regards to research, one of the things that we keep on insisting even to our teachers and school heads in Beaconhouse is the ability to identify the problem and be able to talk about it. It's one thing that turning a blind eye, it's very easy to do that. You walk into your classroom, you know your student is not performing well in certain area, but you say, oh, that's fine, I'll move on to the next, they'll learn in the next year. That's not what we want. We want teachers to be able to identify the problem and then be willing to accept that it exists, and then be willing to talk about it, because at times in your job with your colleagues, you do have all the solutions that are required. You have to just be able to talk about it, then do a little research of your own, look at the web, and then trust your gut, and then apply those strategies in the classroom. Once you start applying that, you will be able to make a difference, rather than just moving on to another set. If this problem is there, you ignore it and you move on. That's not what is required. So for a teacher, I believe it's very important to be curious, very important to be investigative, ready to accept critique and feedback, actually seek it out, be willing to work with others, and most importantly, an active and empathetic listener. Listening is one thing that I feel teachers really need to learn, not just nodding their head or just pretending to listen, which is a very hard task. Most of the times we also do that, but actually understanding and listening with your eyes, with your ears, both together. Because kai dafa your students are not exactly saying what they're feeling, or not being able to communicate why they can't do a certain task if we are just coming down to tasks. For that, teacher needs to be able to connect with them and learn to listen to what they are trying to communicate to her. Then only
That's
they
so
can move
true.
forward or make a difference with the children and even in their own growth.
That's so true. I totally agree to that. You need to be a listener. You need to be somebody who's there and who's present at that moment. Because sometimes I believe, even when I'm doing my work and my students are talking in the class, even I'm not there, but I'm listening to them, I see their conversations reflecting on what they're exactly feeling. You kind of, even eavesdrop to it and
Yeah.
you're like, okay, fine. There's this problem here. I can actually address it in a different way during my class discussions. I can, talk about it in something completely
Yeah.
different. That's so true. Now, talking about research and development in teaching, it must be ongoing because I think the curriculum changes every day. almost everything
Oh,
comes up.
yes.
There's something new. Talking about the taboo topics that are not now listed in Pakistan, that we cannot talk about the maps, we cannot talk about English grammar, we cannot talk about literature, we cannot talk about this, we cannot talk about that. So many things. Because something is we need to understand as teachers as well. We need to be open about it. Yes, we are facing these problems because of the problems that are coming from all over the Pakistan. It's not something that
Jay.
just only 1 or 2% is doing. So, ma'am,
Hmm.
how do you guys develop all this together? Because it must be really hard. Because you have so many people around you, up, top, bottom, policymakers, then
Jay,
curriculum
Jay.
developers, and new people. It must be crazy.
So what we do is, if you're specifically asking about us, or rather any organization at this level, the role of the research and development is to make sure we are abreast with all the international research, whatever educational trends are going on, what are the different things that are being employed in different countries, in different curriculum, in different schools within the country, and then picking and choosing what is the best, then trying to see what our own data is telling us. Schools are the richest source of data, and they have it
True.
they the data is so alive, every day it's getting updated. So trying to
Hmm.
understand the patterns and developing trends from them, and then seeing, okay, this is what our needs are, this is what the world is doing. Now what changes do we need to make, what new initiatives we need to take, what how are we now going to work with the curriculum team to communicate these decisions. So everything then becomes data driven, all the decision makings, whether it's the policy side of it, whether it's the curriculum side of it, whether developing the trainings. Like, for example, I keep coming back to the new normal of teaching, that is the post COVID. Now, before, even if we were not focusing a lot on differentiation, now it has become a need of the hour that we need to
Yes.
tailor our curriculum as per the needs of different children in a classroom.
Okay.
So we might even need to reduce our curriculum and just focus on the skills that are the main requirement. And then maybe later on add extra chapters or extra units or extra themes or modules, whatever. But for that, first we need to collect certain information. We need to gather certain data from the classrooms. Okay, this is the baseline. This is where our students are right now. What is the benchmark we had set for them? That means that they are lagging behind,
Hmm.
or maybe they are meeting that benchmark. From here, where do we go now? How much time do we have left in light of the hybrid classrooms that are going on nowadays, and the limited amount of face-to-face time students have in the classroom? How are we going to now make sure that in those 2 or 3 days that they are in the school, they will be able to cover the basic skills required at this grade level, at this age level? So what are the main
Hmm.
things we need to focus on, and what are the things we can just eliminate? All this decision making relies heavily on all the data and information we gather, whether it is through the interviews of the school heads, the results of the students, the data of the students, whether surveys from the parents. So different mode of data collection is employed to find the right information that will help us make the right decision.
That is so true. I never thought of it that this is a whole process, that it goes way far. When they're telling us that we need to bring things all on the table, that they really mean, because they have to show it forward as well. Ma'am, talking about, just like you said, that Abhi, we have to tailor the curriculum in terms of how, or what's best for the students, because especially as a teacher, I have seen the change that the students are missing out. They have missed out. It was
Yeah.
not easy for them to come back or to take online teaching, because obviously everything takes time, and this was completely new and they were so young. Even for us university students, it took some time for us to register. Okay, this is how we're going to move forward, and this is how we have to cater with the classes. So now, do you guys look at some diagnostics and you believe that yes, now we're going to tailor it according to that? Because mashallah, you guys have different sectors. You have in Karachi, you have Lahore, you have Islamabad, you have Sialkot. Like, you all have very big branches. So you need to see every single and different branch, how they're going. So what are your strategies now for the curriculum, especially, and for the syllabus? And how are you going to go with it?
So we need to understand that students have been away from schools for almost 8 months now. They have
Yes.
not had the chance to be in a classroom with their teachers, with their fellow students for 8 months. They have just returned to school. They have completely forgotten at one level what all information they knew about their previous class, and they are coming back with a clean slate. And as we had to promote them to the new class, we also need to be cognizant of the fact that they were not being able to develop certain skills that we were banking on for the grade level they are now sitting in. Online classes
True.
were not easy. Our teachers became the innovators. Some of them even used their washing machines as whiteboards because of the lack of resources at home. Now, in light of all that and the limitations and the infrastructural issues that we are facing, we have to make changes in our curriculum, and we have. In Beacon House, for example, we gathered the information through multiple surveys that we have been conducting over time. We have been visiting schools. We came up with a separate hybrid model. We came up with separate timetable allocations, separate subject allocations as to how many lessons of English will be taught in grade 5 in 1 week, for example. How many of these would
Mm.
be face to face? How many of these would be online? How many asynchronous tasks will be given? What is the synchronous to asynchronous balance that we are going to maintain? How much of an individual attention can be given to the students? Then within class, what sort of differentiated tasks will be required for children when they come for the face-to-face lessons? Then at the same time, there are
Mm.
students who want to attend the school for example, 4 days. Then what sort of differentiated tasks will we be giving them? So there are multiple decisions that are still going on, and we are still in the process of learning as we go, as everybody is right now. We are relying and banking on data. We are relying on all the information we are getting, and then making changes on the go. Our curriculum team is literally on the drawing board every single day, tweaking and making changes in light of whatever data we find. So research is very important. Every day, the schools are conducting their research. They are gathering their data. That data is being shared with us. Even the data on attendance. How many students are attending
True.
physically? How many are attending face to face? How can we increase or decrease that? So all of that is the play of numbers right now.
That's so true. I think that's a very big scenario that you guys are doing. That's I see a very big team of people now that they must be, on their computers looking at the data, trying to figure out the best way possible. Because obviously, I'm from IB system. I know that inquiry is something that is very important. That will make you cater you, develop you in terms of being the future generation in this world and to be successful generations as well. Uh, so yes, data and research is something that goes hand in hand, and the people who always reflect on what has been done or how will it be, how can be implemented. They're the people who actually make the change when they think that yes, I can see this change, I want to develop this change, and I can bring these small changes. Ma'am, Shahzadi, thank you so much for your time. And the time went by with you, like it just went in a jiff. And I would definitely call you again for the differentiation that you've talked about, because I believe this is a very important topic in
Thank
which
you.
teachers need to
Thank you,
understand about.
Sundar.
Because I really appreciate your effort. How was your experience with us, and how do you have to say this?
Thank you, Sundas. I really enjoyed talking to you. I pronounce my name as Scherezade, but that's fine. That's a very common mistake everybody do with the E at the end. I wish all your students best of luck with their remaining course. I know it's not the kind of experience they had opted for, but this is the best we have right now. Let's make the most of it. And I wish you all the best for your upcoming careers in education and in teaching. After all, it's a pleasure being just a teacher. So let's embrace that. Thank you so much, Sundars.
That's so sweet. Thank you so much for leaving us that beautiful note. That was Scherezade, and thank you so much. I really appreciate your time that you've given us. My idea of bringing different people from all of the education sectors is to make you all understand that education is just not only teaching. You can actually have different careers in it. You just need to understand where you have to develop, what area that you are best in, and how you can implement that area in your teaching practices or in your career, basically. Thank you so much for everyone who joins in and gives us their amazing feedback, amazing comments. It always helps and builds us up. And especially us teachers, we just require some of it, little good comments and little feedback that helps us in developing our future perspectives as well. If you guys feel like that we have to talk about certain things and you feel like that we can actually have certain trainings in terms of teaching, please do write to me. Please do write to the Greenwich University website. You have our registration website as well. You have our admissions website as well. You can always address me in it. You can just write about what you want to see more. Even you can message us on the official WhatsApp if you want to talk about the B.Ed program, if you want to see different developments in it, because we have started our B.Ed program, and we would really appreciate teachers coming forward and developing themselves. We are giving 50% scholarship to all the teachers out there in Pakistan who want to develop in their career, who feel like, their profession needs a little polish and then they're good to go. We're always welcoming you. Let us know if we can help you in any way. Greenwich has been bridging the gap, and we hope that we bridge the gap more for you all. Thank you so much for your time, everyone. Have a good and safe week. Pakistan Zindabad.